Which expression is equivalent to 3x squared plus 7x minus the quantity x plus 4 squared minus 9? To simplify this, you would square this binomial and add like terms. But before you select your answer, you should check with your graphing calculator. So I'm pulling up the Desmos graphing calculator. We're going to type in the original problem, 3x squared plus 7x minus parentheses x plus 4 squared, and then minus 9. Checking your answer, you would type in any of the other answers. So I'm going to do answer choice A, 2x squared plus 7x minus 25. And you will see this blue parabola is different from the red one, so we don't want to use that answer. So the next answer choice is 2x squared plus 7x plus 7. And that answer also does not match the original red parabola. The third one is 2x squared plus 6x plus 7. That doesn't match. So it must be the last one, 2x squared minus x minus 25, and that is the same parabola. If you turn it off and back on, you can see the red one is underneath, and so that would be the correct answer choice. You would choose that on your test. Given f of x equals x squared plus 1 and g of x equals the absolute value of x plus 3, which value of x is a solution to the equation f of x equals g of x? You could plug in your answer choices and see which one makes these two values the same, but before you choose an answer, you always want to check it with your Desmos calculator. So let's take the expressions here. Let's pull this over a little bit. I'm going to type in the function f of x equals x squared plus 1. And I'm going to type g of x equals, and then there is the absolute value symbols on your keyboard, and it's right down here at the bottom left where it says absolute value of a, and we'll put x plus 3 inside. Okay, looking at your absolute value equation, what values of x make this true? Well, there's actually two correct answers, and that's the 2 points of intersection. But only one of those numbers is listed here. So the x-coordinate -1 is not listed, but the x-coordinate +2 is. Please notice you're only looking for the x-coordinate, and that is the number on the left. If you're not sure where that is, type x equals 2, and it'll show you exactly where that is. That's this number 2. So you would choose answer choice D. The next question, which numerical expression provides the solution to the equation 7x squared plus 4x minus 8 equals 14? Well, this is a quadratic equation, and one way to solve it is using the quadratic formula. You would subtract the 14 to make this equal to 0, and then you would plug your numbers into the formula. But before you choose an answer, you should check your answer in Desmos. So first we're going to pull up the Desmos graphing calculator. And then we're going to type in this function, which is 7x squared, or this equation. It's actually not a function, but an equation. All right, plus 4x minus 8 equals 14. And then when we do that, there's going to be two answers here, and that's the important thing to notice. So the first thing I want to do is type the first two answers. Each of these is two answers. The first one is -7 plus the square root of 240 all over 2. So I'm going to use parentheses to type -7 plus the square root, and you can type the word SQRT, or you can use the square root on the keyboard. Close your parentheses and then divide by 2. And you're going to get this number here. Well, let's see. This number was 1.51, and that was -2.081. This number is not here, so we do not need to type the negative number for that one. So let's go to the second answer choice, -7 plus the square root of 632. I'm going to change this to a 632, and then under here is going to be a 7. All right, again, I don't see that answer listed here. So that is not the correct answer. Let's try the third one. -4 plus or minus the square root of 632. So I'm just doing the plus for now. Over 14. Now I'm seeing 1.5. 1.51. That looks right. So let's do the other one. Let's make this a minus sign. -4 minus the square root of 632 over 14. And then let's see if that matches this one. And look, it does match that one. So that means the answer C is the correct answer. Which system of equations is represented by the graph? You could find the slope and the y-intercept of each line and write equations and rearrange those in standard form to find your two equations. But before you choose your answer, you should type your systems of equation in the graphing calculator. So let's pull up the calculator. I'm going to type in as x minus 5y equals 14. And then on the second line, you have to go to a new line. Type the other line, 5x minus 4y equals 28. And then you want to compare these two lines to the two that were in your graph. But you will notice that these lines are not at all the same. So these lines are actually very different. So these are going down, both of them are, and it looks like both of these are increasing. So answer choice A didn't work. So let's change these signs here. Change this to a plus sign. And change the 14 to a -6. And then let's see, for answer choice B, we have 5x plus 4y equals 12. All right, so we've typed two new lines. Now this one looks a lot very similar. Let's see if it's actually the same one though. So a couple of things you can check. Do they cross the y-axis in the right spot? So if I click this number here, that says 0.3. It looks to me like this crosses at 0.2 though, so this is not quite right. The x-intercept, it says here is 2.4. Well, here it looks like it's a +2. So I don't think this is the right answer. You might also check and notice they cross at 4, -2, and that is correct, 4, -2. So that one could be correct, but I'm not real sure about these intercepts. That doesn't look right. So let's do the second one, 3x minus 3y. Or the third one, 3x minus 3y equals 6. And that one doesn't look right at all. 2x minus 5y equals 18. All right, well, those lines are increasing, so that can't be right. So let's try the last one. 3x plus 3y is equal to 6, and 2x plus 5y is equal to, what was that, -2? Let's try that one. All right, now let's check these numbers again. This y-intercept is 0.2, so see, that's looking just right. This point is still 4, -2, so that looks just right. This looks like it crosses the x-axis at -1, and look here. It does. It crosses at -1. So even though answer choice B looked really good, it was answer choice D that was the correct answer because everything's perfect on that one. Which equation could be used to find the zeros of the function f of x equals 6x squared minus x minus 15? Well, you could factor this quadratic and set your factors equal to 0, and then you could match it up with one of these. But before you select an answer, you should check your answer with your graphing calculator. So I'm going to take my Desmos calculator and type in my original function, f of x. And then I'm going to type in my answer choices and find the one that matches this graph, which is a parabola. So the first answer choice has x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 4. So if I type that in without the equals 0, you'll notice that this parabola is completely different. It's much wider. So that is not correct. The next one is similar to that. It's x plus 3x minus 5. It's even worse, so that one doesn't work. The third one is 2x plus 3 and 3x minus 5, and that one is the same. So if you uncheck this, you will see the blue and the red are the same parabola. So you should choose answer choice C. Which represents the function used to find any term x of the sequence 2, 8, 32, 128, 5, 12. Now, you probably could set this up without using your calculator by dividing the 8 and the 2, and then starting with your first term 2, and then writing your equation in that way. But let's check our answer with the Desmos calculator. Step 1, let's type in our first answer choice, f of x, equals 2 times 4, and then exponent is shift 6. When you type x minus 1 as an exponent, put it in parentheses. Now, to use your table, you'll go ahead and go to the next row and click the plus sign and create a table. And for sequences, you must remember your domain is always 1, 2, 3, and so forth. I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4. They actually had 5 numbers in this sequence. And then on the right side, I want you to type f of x1. And now you want to match these up. Are these numbers the same numbers in this sequence? And the answer is yes. If I want to go ahead and put the 5 in there, you'll see the 512 as well. Now, if you type just 2x to the, or 2 times 4 to the x, you may notice that some of these numbers are still here, but the first term is not 2, it's 8. So you can't choose B, and then C and D are going to be way off. So the correct answer was A. Which expression is equivalent to the quantity x minus 6 times the quantity 2x squared minus 3x plus 4? To do this problem, you could create a box that's 2 by 3 and place these factors on the sides and multiply to fill it in. But before you choose your answer, you should type this problem in Desmos. So what we're going to do is type the original product in Desmos with parentheses, so x minus 6 times 2x squared minus 3x plus 4. Then we're going to type the answer choices in one at a time. You may notice this is a quadratic and it's multiplied by a linear. So this is not going to give you a quadratic. It's going to give you one of these. So I'm actually going to start with answer choice C first, just to save a little bit of time. But if I type 2x to the third minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 6, you'll notice that the original graph is way over here at 6, 0, and this doesn't even come close to that. You're really not seeing very much of that other graph, so if you want to zoom out, you'll see it's this curvy graph that's really kind of unusual. But this answer doesn't work, so let's try the next one. It's 2x cubed minus 15x plus 22x minus 24. And now you'll see that these are the same. So zoom out to see more. But if I turn off the blue graph, there's the red graph right below it. So that is telling you answer choice D was the correct answer. Which function is shown on the graph? To do this problem, you would basically look at this vertex and notice that it's 3 spaces to the left and it's 1 space down from the origin. And then you would choose your answers. But before you choose an answer, you should always type your answer into Desmos to check. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the first answer, and that's f of x equals absolute value. On your keyboard, that's down here on the bottom. And we'll type x minus 4, and then we'll go outside the absolute value and type the plus 2. And so when you type that, you'll notice the vertex is over here in the first quadrant. It's not in the third quadrant where it needs to be. So this answer doesn't work. So let's go ahead and do the next one. It's x minus 3 and it's plus 1. Well, again, it's actually in the first quadrant too. So it's not in the right spot. It's over here in the wrong place. It should be down there. So let's do x plus 3 minus 1. And this one is correct. You'll notice this coordinate is left 3 down 1, and this one is also left 3 down 1. So the correct answer was C. Which is a zero of the polynomial expression 7x plus 21? To find a zero, you would set this equal to 0 and solve the equation. But before you choose your answer, be sure to type it into Desmos to check your answer. So we're going to put in 7x plus 21 and then click on this gray dot to see the point on the x-axis. The 0 is the negative 3. It's the x-coordinate of that x-intercept. So choose answer B. What is the solution to negative 2 times the quantity 9r plus 3 minus 7r is greater than or equal to negative 10r minus the quantity 12r plus 9? To do this problem, you would use the distributive property. You would combine like terms. You would get all of your r's on the left and all of your numbers on the right. And then you would divide to get your r by itself. But before you choose an answer, be sure you type this in your Desmos calculator. Now, since Desmos doesn't really understand that r is a variable, or it thinks it's, well, it actually will treat it as a variable in some way, but in order for it to graph a function and evaluate it, we do need to type in, instead of the r, an x, and see it's going to put a line on the graph when you do that. So everywhere you see an r, don't type an r, just type an x instead. That's the variable we want to use. So greater than or equal to, you just type greater than or equal to, or you can find the symbol on the keyboard below. And then you'll do negative 10x minus 12, well, wait a minute, minus parentheses 12x plus 9, and then close parentheses. All right, so here's my original problem. You may notice that there's a solid line. That's important, and that there's shading to the left of 1. So as we type our answer choices, that's what we're looking for, is something that will produce the shading to the left of 1. So the first one has a negative 5, and the second one has a negative 5, so it must be C or D. So let's try typing x is less than or equal to 1, and that was the correct answer. So that would be your C. So choose that answer.